You should probably fail. Like, if we look at this logically, you as a small independent business should have no chance of beating the big Goliaths that you have to go toe to toe with. Like, let's just logically break this up, right? They have the brand name that makes them recognizable. They can spend more in your annual revenue on a marketing experiment. They hire all the best consultants. They have all the efficiencies. They have people who are responsible on hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not millions of dollars salary, to take care of certain elements in the entire process. And you as an independent have none of these strengths. Like, it's you wearing all the hats, making all the decisions. Every dollar needs to work as hard as it possibly can from a marketing perspective. You're in the business, you're on the business. You against them makes no logical sense. And in any fair battle, they should destroy you. Yet you as an independent business are doing well. Right? Many independents go toe to toe with these Goliaths, win market share, do really, really well locally. And in some cases, the Goliaths struggle against them. So what do these small independent businesses know that the Goliaths don't know, that allow them in order to fight at a higher weight class and outmaneuver these big Goliaths in intelligent ways? And that's what we want to talk about in today's episode of the Business of Hearing podcast. Now, here's the gap and the problem that always occurs. Because the way that we learn from being children is copy people that know more, right? If our parents say, don't touch that fire, it's hot, we won't take the gamble, we'll just take their word. They know, we're learning from them. Apprentices, shadow masters, it's the way that we want to do it, right? If I wanted to get better at golf, I'd copy the best golfers in the world and I would get better. If I wanted to make a recipe and make some food, if I read the recipe and instructions of a chef that's mastered it, it's going to be a lot better than me trying to work it out myself. Now, the gap and issue that occurs is what many small and independent businesses do, is they look at the big businesses. They look at the Goliaths who have invested all the money to work this out, and they try to mimic what they're doing, copy their offer, copy their structure, copy the way that they are positioned in the marketplace. But the problem is they're playing a very different game to you as an independent business. Copying them is a quick way to lose because we can't afford to play the game that they're playing. We need to play with our own set of rules and understand our unique strengths as an independent small business that allows us to outmaneuver and play in the ways that Goliaths can't play. And I want to talk you through those 5 strengths that if you leverage and understand it in the right way, you have every competitive advantage and you fight in the blind spot of the Goliaths at every stage. Here's the first one. You can be specific. Goliaths can't. Like a big Goliath, a big chain, and we look in the hearing care world, like pick a Costco, pick a big manufacturer-owned chain, they have got to play the mass market game. They've got to go as wide as possible, not deep. They've got to be so generic that they're trying to attract everyone. It means they've got to lead with price, lead with generic, fluffy messaging. They can't be for a certain part of the market. They can't do anything with specificity. They've got to play the big, wide game. Now, you are the complete opposite. You can be sharp, you can be narrow, you can be deep. You can focus on mastering a specific segment of the market rather than trying to appeal to the wider market. If you're trying to fight for everyone, very, very difficult. If you're trying to fight for your people, your market, and your expertise, then you are in a sharp position in order to do so. So as the Goliaths go wide as possible and try to get everyone in the market, fight for that mass market because shareholder price is key, you can go deep and specific and you don't become an option to your patients, you become the option to your patients. The second one is you can play trust face to face, because the big brands, they talk about the importance of authenticity in a boardroom and then try and bleed that down into the rest of the organization through middle management, middle management, etc., etc. Now, you are the opposite. You can be face to face with your patients, with your customers every single day, which means authenticity is genuine. Like you can actually play that game correctly. You can see a patient walk in and you know the backstory of that individual. You can ask them questions about how their kid's doing at hockey or whatever it may be. Like the big businesses can't do that. Yet that's the way every customer really desires to be treated. We want to work with the businesses that make us feel seen and where we feel like part of it and that our name is recognized when it hits the schedule. Now that is a game that you can play. The Goliaths can't play this. Everybody that turns up to a Goliath feels like a number. If you've got a complaint with Amazon and you contact their support, they don't go, oh my God, Joe, remember Joe, he's reached out to us. You're just a name on the list that is as generic as anything can be. As an independent, as a little David in the market, we can be so specific and be face to face with the patients that shows closeness. The third is you can move fast. And this is at a time where speed of change is unprecedented to anything we've seen before. Like you can see something, observe something in the morning and change it by the afternoon that changes a process, that adds efficiency, that creates more patient happiness. A big Goliath, change is painful. It's going to take somebody to recommend it. It's then going to take a meeting, which is going to raise another meeting. And then there's going to be a meeting to schedule the next meeting. And then it's going to go to a boardroom and make a decision. But then it's going to need budget sign off and go over there. Then it's going to need sign off over here and go to there. Then it's going to be slowly rolled out over time and introduced. The staff are not going to read the email that's told them about this change. And before they know it, it could be 6 to 12 months for any marginal change to occur. You can do it in hours, they can do it in months. And at a time where pivoting around what's going on in the world right now is so key, like you've got that competitive advantage of being light on your feet, being able to pivot. As things change, as circumstances change, when Apple entered the market, it's a prime example. What does a big Goliath have to do? Before they can even make an opinion on that or share any advice on that, the level that's got to go through, the number of eyes, the number of meetings is so slow. By the time they finally made any form of announcement or created any content, like the world's moved on. It's old news. You can make a piece of content the same day. You can give an opinion. You can move so much quicker. They've got to try and U-turn the Titanic. You can be on a jet ski and quickly fling in the other direction. Now that speed can be used well or it cannot, but if you use it and utilize it correctly, it means that you can constantly be looking for those 1% marginal improvements based on being close to the business, being specific to the business and all the day-to-day changes, which means that you can move significantly quicker. And then there's the fourth. You can care without calculation. Because to a Goliath, a customer is a customer. It's a name on a spreadsheet. It's more of a financial metric than a human name next to it. And anything that's around over delivery, anything that's around special time for that customer needs budget sign off. It needs permission. It's almost like the member of staff's got to defend why they spent an extra 10 minutes and was behind on their schedule. You, on the right other hand, can just do the right thing for the customer. If you see the patient's having a bad day, you can spend that little bit of extra time to look after them. If you observe that a patient on the schedule has a problem, you don't need to go and seek, can we help this patient? Like they've only got this as a budget, they can't afford it, or they've got this problem. Can we do something to support them? You can just do the right thing at every point. And doing the right thing compounds. Doing the right thing that is against sometimes the interest of finances, but the right thing for the human-to-human relationship is a superpower. Now, you can do that every day without seeking approval. The big Goliaths are more likely to get their hand slaps for doing the right thing than doing the right thing. So, huge competitive advantage if you can leverage it. And then the final big advantage that you have is you can create a sense of belonging. Like nobody goes to Starbucks and feels like I'm part of something, right? It's a transactional led thing. And nobody goes to Costco and feels like they're part of something. But you as a practice can create belonging. You can create a place where the patient feels a little bit like it's home, like it's their comfy place, their happy place. It's a place where they're seen. It's a place where they're recognized. It's a place that's built around their preferences. Now, this could be that you build some more community amongst your patients. It may mean that you host patient events. It may mean that you host monthly patient webinars. It may mean that you start showcasing the stories of patients in the newsletter to start creating community. But the big groups, it's transactional. They've got no community. They've got no sense of belonging between the customers and the brand. The only exception of this is possibly Apple, who've created community, or the community's created around the company. I won't say it's been engineered too much, but as an independent, you can do this a lot easier than a Goliath ever can. And Goliaths often don't want to play that game. You as an independent can. But if you can leverage those 5 skills of having specificity and knowing you haven't got to fight for the mass market, you can instead fight for being the right fit. If you can get really deep on belonging, you get really deep on everything that we've spoken about, then you have a big, big strength, a strength that you can play that the Goliaths can. And that is how small independent businesses can outmaneuver and outsmart the big Goliaths in local marketplaces in order to be very, very difficult to compete with and build wonderful businesses that have fans as customers, not just customers. But there's so much in this, right? It's almost like I'm writing a book on the subject. But hopefully that was helpful, hopefully a little insightful. But if you're an independent business that feels like the shadow of Goliaths is a painful one, know that you have strengths. There's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't be able to fight, but there's a lot of ways that you can outfight them as long as you lean into those strengths. Don't try to play their game, play your own game, and that is the safest game that you can play. But appreciate your eyes. Hopefully that was helpful, and I'll be back again next week with yet another episode.